and we have the privilege of listening to their point of view. Dr. Ram Madhav, let me begin with you first. There's a lot of misinformation about the word Hindutva to begin with. It is attributed to Mr. Savarkar, but it was coined, as it turns out, by a great son of Bengal, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, in his treatise Anand Mat. The same work that gave us Vande Mataram. Chattopadhyay himself was a product of the Renaissance, the Bengal Renaissance. First, tell us what the word Hindutva means in its unadulterated apolitical sense as defined by people like Chattopadhyay.
No, firstly, let me make a humble correction. It's no longer a lot of misunderstanding. It's a little bit of misunderstanding continues. Large sections of our society, Indian society today understand the real meaning and essence of this word Hindutva. There are professional critiques of it. We earlier used to think that probably people are unable to understand. That's why they are probably talking against it. But over the years, we now realize that it is professional to be anti-Hindutva. So you have to be a professionally anti-Hindutva person, so you have to invent certain arguments. Now Hindutva is different, Hinduism is different, Hinduism is very liberal, logical, Hindutva is very fundamentalist, etc., etc. Hindutva is Hinduism in practice. In practice, always updating itself, making that very ancient philosophy of our Hindu dharma contemporarily relevant is what is Hindutva, nothing else. All other interpretations, negative interpretations about it are only professional, critical analysis. It's only a job to remain critical. No, not because they don't understand it, but being critical also has a market. That's all.
So Pawan Verma, you've written on the Hindu civilization, a brilliant book. Are you just a professional litigant against the word Hindutva, or do you believe that perhaps it has come to acquire, in the hands of some, a more insidious edge? And if you do believe so, can you justify why Dr. Ram Madhav might be wrong here?
I have nothing against the word Hindutva. To me, Hindutva, as you define Tva, if it is seen as the essence of Hinduism, I have probably written half a dozen books on Hinduism. I'm a great admirer of the profundity of its philosophical wisdom and an admirer also of its continuity, if I may say, for 5,000 years. And I do believe that somewhere along the line, some of its great wisdoms have been lost, need to be reclaimed. Parts of Hindu civilization which are an aspect of Hindutva need to be reappropriated, brought into the mainstream. And therefore, in principle, I am not against the word Hindutva. However, since I believe in the grandeur of Hinduism, I object often, not because I am a professional critic, as Ram Madhav ji saw. I object to Hinduism's grandeur, whether it's called Hindutva or anything else, to the lowest common denominator. By which I mean that for political purposes, if the very spirit and essence of Hinduism's ultimate glory is simplified deliberately to the point where it becomes a set of shibboleths, what to eat, what to wear, how to dress, how many times to go to the temple, who to worship, in what form, and particularly for women, for them to conform to the notion of some thekedars of Hinduism, to the concept of chaste Hindu Nari. Hinduism cannot be reduced to that, because when you do it, you distort it. Yes, you need to be aggressive about aspects of Hinduism. You need to be vigilant about possible threats to it. But in doing so, you cannot distort such a great legacy. And I therefore feel that when you use Hindutva purely as a political tool, it often ends up not as the Hinduism which we worship or which we are proud to belong to, but as a means of dividing society, spreading avoidable hate, creating fissures, and also empowering an entire class of new, he will not like this word, so I will not use it. We've had debates before. A new class of people who cannot write one page on Hinduism but are today the protectors of Hinduism and have become a law unto themselves.
No, are you saying that they extend into the ruling establishment and that
No,
they
no,
are part and parcel
in fact,
of...
that's a very interesting question, and then Mr. Madhav, I'm sure, will answer it. You see, the ruling party, in my view, and has played a role of deliberate ambiguity with organizations like the Bajrang Dal. I'm naming one. They encourage them to achieve short-term political goals in their aggression. If they go too far, they have the option to distance themselves from it. We were just having a discussion about this. And in this process, over 10 years of political power at the center, we have people today who in the name of Hindutva are distorting the very meaning, grandeur and conquering eclecticism of Hinduism. That I feel is wrong. But otherwise I have no problem with Hindutva.
So you're saying there is a basis to adduce this sort of definition that Hindutva has been sort of twisted.
No,
Mr.
as I said, look, if there is anything wrong happening in Hinduism, there is always scope and place for questioning and criticism. That is the very fundamental, quality of Hinduism that Mr. Pawan Verma knows very well. Questioning. Gandhiji said, continuous reform is the name of Sanatana Dharma. Hindu Dharma is the name in which continuous reform should happen. To that extent, it is fine. Does Hinduism not have asuras in it? Was Ravan not a great Hindu in that sense? But he was still an asura. He was to be opposed. He was to be killed. Such things, whether they happen in any form, in any name, in any organization, they have to be opposed. But to brand a particular group as you are Hindutva, since you are Hindutva, you are bad, is what is wrong. That is what I am saying. If there is something not correct happening in any particular group, in a so-called non-Hindutva group, championing caste and dividing society in the name of caste, asking people, tell me how many judges are there from your caste, tell me how many so-and-so are there in your caste. It is all progressive in our country. Nobody questions that politics. While in Hindutva, when we are talking about this great country's ancient civilizational value system, we have to uphold it, we have to live with that swa, self-respect, self-identity. It's actually branded as though it's a very bad idea. Bad people can be there anywhere. That's what I'm saying. When there was no Hindutva also, there were bad people among every religion, every dharmic society. Don't brand a group just because then you call it a political form. It's not politics. It's about this country. If it is politics, Mahatma Gandhi was the first person to use it for political reasons. He called, I am a very proud Sanatani Hindu. It's not politics. It's about certain value system which we believe it's the core value system of our country.
Okay, you want to quickly come
Just
in before I
quickly
bring in
rebut,
Mr. Gautier?
With apologies to François. Ram Madhavji raised a very important point. Hinduism has the ability, the confidence, the sanction to critique itself and correct itself. My worry today is we are fast coming to a point where even a proud Hindu like myself, if he or she questions any aspect of what the establishment so-called of Hindutva believes, we are anti-Hindu. Now this is a very strange thing, because Hinduism, if you know, has no one God, no one book, no one church. It is an eclectic faith which has not one but 6 systems of Hindu
No,
philosophy.
but shouldn't we speak with concrete examples?
I'm just
But
going to
let me
finish.
bring
I'm
it-
just going to finish quickly.
Yeah.
And it has allowed for a great deal of contrary opinions and critique. That is its strength, Rahul. I want to just quickly take 10
But you're
seconds.
sitting here and you're critiquing,
Yes.
and there's so much space for that.
I don't know what the consequences will be. But that apart, the point I'm making is that you have the Charvaks. They said Vedas are a bunch of lies. I challenge anyone to even attempt to say that today and not face the consequences
Okay,
of being
let me
anti-Hindu.
bring in Francois Gauthier on this. There was